If you've been to most car shows or almost any community event over the last several years, you've probably seen this man walking around, and today he's in the hot seat. Kevin Suter is on the spotlight next. From the studios of Alathus Realty in beautiful downtown Russellville, we welcome you into the spotlight on this Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Drew Brent, and if you're in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call today. It's 479-968-5668 or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. One of our agents always ready, willing, and able to serve you. That's russellvilleliving.com. Also, if you've missed any of our spotlights, you can check them out on the Facebook archive or over on russellvilleliving.com. Had an outstanding interview with Tom Kammerling, the legendary radio voice of the River Valley yesterday, so be sure to check that out. Jeremy Hames joins us on the show coming up tomorrow. But for right now, right here on the spotlight, he's on the hot seat. Kevo is in the studio. What's up, brother?
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Now I'm gonna cut right to the chase. For a guy who has all of the car bravado, has all of the car knowledge, who is out in public all the time, you did not want to do this.
No, I did not. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. No, I didn't. I don't do it good in front of the camera. And it's weird to say because of the people person that I am, you would think that it wouldn't bother me, but it does. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It does.
You know, it's funny because you're not the only person who has been in here like that. There have been several notable names in here who you would think, you know, they're out in front of people all the time. They're out. They do the business of the public all the time. And yet being in a setting like this hey, it makes me nervous. I totally get it. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about a lot of the things that you do. And I think that most people know what you do. I don't think they know who does it. Does that make sense?
Well, not really. I think they know. I mean, my name is out there enough, and the people that help me, it's out there pretty good to know. You know, because I get hit up all the time. If you say the word car or truck or show, here I am.
Right.
My name comes up, and my name's not the only one. There's others that be contacted, of course.
So, how did this all start?
Man, I started the love of cars as a young kid. My dad was always into cars. My grandpa was always into cars. They would take me up on Petit Jean every year. I mean, it was a father-son, it was a family thing every year to go up on the mountain. And, you know, we would pick out these cars. Dad tell me what it was and this and that. And I've just been hooked ever since, trying to carry it on with my kids, you know, trying to get my kids into it as well. I've always got something that I'm tinkering with. Anybody that knows me knows that I've got a yard full of cars.
Right. Pretty much at all times. And the car obsession turned into a community service obsession. When did you start putting on these car shows?
Man, it's been probably 8 or 9 years ago. I was working with the guy, and his daughter was born with cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
And a couple of people hit me up just because of being around the car scene. A couple of people hit me up to see if I could do a fundraiser type car show for her. And you know, I started and I did that, and that show was amazing. I mean, it turned out bigger than we filled up the National Home Center parking lot. And ever since then, I mean, that took the cake right there, and it's just been progressing ever since.
So when you do these car shows, have you ever done one just as a straight up car show, or pretty much all of them been for community purposes?
Most generally, they've been for a benefit of some type. And, you know, I'll try to help any way that I can, any benefit that I can. Anybody that asks me, I've helped out on shows that are just shows. But most generally, we give back any way we can.
It's interesting, too, because there is sometimes a stigma when it comes to hot rod folks and motorcycle folks that, you know, they can be kind of gruff. It can kind of be a rough and tumble sort of community. That's not really the case
No,
with your crew at all.
no, that's one thing about us. We have tried. We're trying to work with everybody. Um, every type. There's so many different uh, varieties of vehicles. We try to welcome anybody and everybody that for the love of the car, for the love of the motorcycle. You know, everybody does their vehicle their own way, whether it be a motorcycle, hot rod, rat rod, any type. You know, you respect their vehicle for what it is because different tastes, but they still have a love for the vehicle. And there's no we accept everything.
Uh, but but that stigma can exist sometimes where it almost feels. Well, I'll tell you like this. You see on TV, you see the people who ride all the motorcycles, and they've always got this something attached to them, like, well, those are rough and tumble biker guys, or these are rough and tumble car guys. But if you go to one of your shows, or if you go to one of these community shows, you don't get that vibe at all.
No,
It really feels like family.
And we wouldn't let that happen.
Right.
If you're going to come to one of our shows and start stuff, you're going to be asked to leave. I don't care you're what you're there for or what, but if you come to try to start stuff, no, that's another big issue of ours is it's going to be family oriented. No matter what it's about, what it's for, it's going to all be family oriented.
Done a lot of benefits over the last almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
Any one of them stand out to you as one that you're most proud of?
That first one.
That first one?
I've done some for CASA. I helped with them 2 or 3 times. And but that first one, it was the biggest one. It's the one that started everything, And like I said a while ago, it's progressed ever since then. It's the one that got me started. It's the one that got my name out there. So, yeah, it's probably the first one.
These shows are, if you've never been to them, folks, you need to try to go because when you walk through a car show, you see all the hot rods. You see the muscle cars. You can see some bikes occasionally, and I think people may take for granted just how difficult putting on one of these shows can be. Kind of walk me through the process. What's that like?
Well, it's going to depend on what you're shooting for out of the show, whether it be a benefit, whether it be different varieties of shows. It depends on what you're in it for. But you're most generally going to get sponsors. You're going to most generally get activities. You're going to get door prizes. The one hard thing to do is set a date.
Right.
The hardest thing to do is to set a date. But everybody in this community is just awesome. Awesome. That's one thing about it is there's a lot of people don't see it, but there's a lot of auto related people in our community. And I don't know, you'll see it if you come to the show. There's a lot of heart in auto-related community as well, but everybody comes together, and it's just amazing. And that's one thing about us is we welcome anybody, everybody, and no matter what.
And you mentioned something too. This was something that I thought was interesting. It's not just you.
No,
there's a whole bunch of people who are behind.
No,
this.
I would like to name a couple of names if that's all right.
Please do.
We've got Terry Talley, Jack Heflin from Tri-County Cruisers, Dustin Kennedy from Modified Society, and Dustin Cross from Modified Society as well. Jason Alexander's helped me do a few in Atkins. There's a number of us I could name all day long, but that's a few that stand out to me. Like I said, Terry Talley, Jack Heflin, Dustin Kennedy, and Dustin Cross is helping with Modified Society. They've got a club starting up. They actually have a meet every Saturday night at Sonic on 4th Street every Saturday evening, just like the old times. And that's starting to take off, and that's a neat deal.
Last year was a COVID year.
Yeah.
And it nobody knew how to do anything, last year.
We actually had a cruise night that was a big fuss right in the middle of it. And, it's hard to say how it would happen or what would happen. Yeah, it was a big deal, but we would hoped that, it was a cruise and people would stay in their cars and just cruise like it was supposed to be. But, it is what it is. And I'm hoping that stuff all slows down now. I mean, Dustin Kennedy and I are trying to bring car stuff back to our community. Like I said a while ago, there's a lot of auto-related people in our community, and we don't want it to die out. It's had a bad rep of street racing and this and that in the past, but there's so much heart and auto related community that we want to bring it back. We want to bring more activities. We want to bring shows. We want to bring cruise nights because there's just so many people that want to do it, and we want to try to bring it back to our community.
Uh, and it's interesting you bring those things up. One thing I wanted to touch on was last year you started doing drive by parades.
That's one of the things that we started doing during the COVID situation. These kids couldn't have birthday parties, They couldn't go out to have their birthday parties at a facility. So yeah, we've done a bunch of drive-bys during that time, and it was a pretty good hit.
Yeah,
that also got me out there. We had one where we went to Danville and we went through the nursing home, and that one was actually televised on TV. I mean, it was a pretty neat deal.
The things that you guys have done have been really interesting to me because it was out of the box thinking last year, just trying to bring a little bit of joy back, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you see these kids as you're driving by, what goes through your mind?
It almost brings a tear to your eye just to see the smile on their face. You don't even know the kid half the time. And there was one time where we tried to do 6 or 8 birthdays in one day, and just went all over town in different houses in one day. And, the parents were just crazy thankful, and I got text messages and everything for a while over that, and still had more requests coming.
One thing that you said was this has been something that you've done since you were a kid. You just have always loved cars. Your kids, are they gearheads too?
It's funny that you ask. They are. My 2 youngest actually race go-karts on a dirt track, and we've done that for 7 or 8 years. My middle daughter, Allie, she's 17, and she's starting to get out of it now, but she was quite the driver in her time, and my son was coming up as well. He didn't do it as long as she had. We're getting out of it now, but Allie's still got a lead foot, and
Right.
She actually was hoping to do some of the Christmas parades. We've got a little red convertible now, and she was actually hoping to do some of the Christmas parades this year, but the car's not ready. My son, it's making me a little bit nervous, to be honest with you. He likes the high dollar exotic cars.
Got it.
I mean, he's a motorhead, but he's up there in a different level. But it's still neat.
Speaking of Allie, she had a pretty big day today, huh?
Man,
Now, this airs on Wednesday. We're reporting this on Monday, but she had a big day today.
Yeah, she'll be 18. She's a senior. She's a big softball player. She's actually has been a starting pitcher, but she is actually accepted going to North Ark in Harrison today.
Right.
They haven't made it official and done the sign-on thing or nothing like that, but yeah, she actually made the announcement today that she is accepting the invitation to go to North Ark in Harrison.
We're talking to Kevin Suter. He is the guy behind most of the car shows that you see right here in the River Valley. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about how all this began and what he was like as a kid. That's all coming up right after this. More on the Spotlight after this. We welcome you back to the Spotlight on this Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Drew Brent. If you're in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call today. It's 479-968-5668. Cruise on over to RussellvilleLiving.com. We are talking to Kevin Suter, affectionately known as Kevo. Where'd the nickname come from?
Man, I always wanted a nickname, and I've only had it for, I don't know, probably the last 10 years. I worked at a facility, and I told them that I wanted one, and they just come up with it then, and there was a guy named Steve over there, and they started calling me that, and it stuck. I liked it. The only thing about it, and I'm going to go ahead and do it since we're on public right now, is everybody calls me Kevo, because I don't put the dash in there between the V and the O to make it
right.
Kevo. So, but it is Kevo. I want to make that clear.
Well, I feel a little bit responsible for that because I think I called you Kevo a couple of times. It probably drove me insane. I had no idea.
Everybody has. And sometimes I let it go. Sometimes I politely correct them, depending on the situation. You told me earlier in the interview that you and your family, you and your dad and your grandfather as kids, you were always into cars and that sort of thing. So let's go back a little bit. Would 10-year-old Kevo be happy with the fact that you're so involved in car shows now? Oh yeah, I would want to be more involved if anything.
Yeah.
My grandpa had an old Impala. It was a '64 Impala, and it sat beside his house. It was just sitting there, and I was raised around all these antique cars, and it was an antique car as I was growing up already. And it just sat there, and I just, I told them one day that I wanted to get out there and work on it, and this and that. And he actually left me the car, and young Kevo at the time let it go when I shouldn't have. And there's been some more situations of a lot that I let go and shouldn't have. But
yeah. What are the favorite cars that you've had?
Oh man,
this is a 30-minute show. We got time.
that would be a long conversation there. I actually had a popular vehicle is a Fox body Mustang, and I actually had one. And a lot of people know of a man named Brent Taylor, that's a native Russellville guy. He bought the car new as a teen from Cogswell in '84, '85. Bought it brand new. And he immediately started upgrading it. And it was his prized possession high school car. And, it was one of those cars that you can't ever get off of nobody. Can't ever buy it. And I was hounded. I was actually working with him, and I hounded him until I got the car. And it was, it was neat to have it because there was stories behind it and this and that. But there's just so many. I had the '65 Mustang. A lot of people know me from that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I accidentally shipped that car to Belgium. And, I say accidentally. I thought it was a scam. I mean, as soon as Across the Water comes up, you're thinking scam.
Right.
But it turned out to be a neat ordeal. I'm still in touch with the guy. It's actually an 18-year-old guy, and it was legit. And the car went to Belgium, and it's just a neat story to be able to say I shipped a car to Belgium.
Well, and there is more to that story too. How did that all unfold?
Man, all of my deals here recently, I wasn't planning on selling, and I'll just post a picture of it. And, this one happened to be one of those stories where there was some guys over here looking to buy cars for people over there. And like I said, I thought it was a scam, but I kept cautiously moving forward with it. And it turned out to be a legit deal. And like I said, I found the guy on Facebook. I looked up, his name was on the bill of sale, and I made sure it was legit and started messaging him on Facebook. And yeah, he told me it was legit, and we still talk, and I check on the car every now and then. I post updates on Facebook of what he's doing to it and this and that.
How much do you get paid for doing these car shows?
Zero. I don't want anybody to think I make a dime off of any of it. I don't even most generally, I do not even cover, if I put money into it, I don't even cover that. I give 100% back.
Here's the biggest question. We've talked about the how. We've talked about the process on it. Why do you do it?
I want to help anybody any way I can. If I can't physically hand them money, then I want to go out there and try. If they need help, then I want to be able to go out there and raise the money for them. And everybody said you try to find a place to give it to that may need it. Some of the bigger what's some of the bigger places that nonprofit stuff.
River Valley Food for Kids is one that we work with a lot.
No, I'm talking bigger than that. Something that
United Way.
Something that I want to make sure that all the money goes to that and doesn't get spread out.
Sure.
If there's one foundation or whatever, or one family that's really in need and they come to me, then I want to make sure it goes to that right there.
Right.
I don't want it get there's a lot of nonprofits and it has to get spread out to cover a number of things, cover a number of costs, and I want to be more specific on where the money goes. I want to know where the money goes.
That need to help people, that want to help people, has that always been there? Where does that come from?
That's probably always been there. It's probably always been there, and it started coming to the light more when people started asking me, hey, these people need me more than I thought, and they're coming to me, and I need to do whatever I can. I was a volunteer firefighter for 5 years, and it's just, and I've tried to talk to officers to see if I could volunteer as an officer. I just want to help any way that I can. If I can't help them financially or whatever, then I want to be able to help them in any other way that I can.
A lot of times when you have a member of the family like yourself who's, so active in the community, that really trickles into the immediate family. Are you seeing that with your own family as well?
Yeah. Well, Allie has already mentioned that she would like to follow my footsteps into as far as hosting shows and stuff like that. Now, it can hinder or it can help because you spend a lot of time on the phone. You spend a lot of time going here, running there. That can take an effect as well. It has its goods and bads, but you got to try to balance it out.
Right. And that's actually a good segue into the next question that I have. And I ask this of everybody who is got some sort of prominence in the community. All right. And the question is this: when you are busy with a 40, 50-hour a week job, your dad and husband, plus all of this community service, it can be taxing on work-life balance. Have you found that balance?
I don't think you ever can, because every scenario is different.
Right.
Every scenario is different. Every show is different. Every way that you go into the show is different. I don't know that you ever can. You gotta try to do it the best way you can, but I don't know if you can ever 100% balance it out.
A lot of these shows have some great stories behind them, as you were talking about at the very first show. There's got to be some blooper reel kind of stuff.
Oh man,
too.
There's always
something that you can share that's on air appropriate that just stands out as being one of those I can't believe that just happened moments.
This isn't really a blooper, but everybody else got a kick out of it. One of the shows that we did for CASA, we had a Dunkin' booth, and I just threw it out there. If y'all can raise $100 up real quick, then I'll get in the Dunkin' booth. And buddy, it happened just like that. And I mean, they did the thing where they just went up there and pushed it just to make me drop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing really that stands out, but it's always been fun. You always try to make fun of it any way you can.
What's the dream show? What's that look like?
The dream show? I want to have a big indoor-outdoor show. It doesn't necessarily have to be a benefit show, but I want to have one of the bigger city events come to the smaller city, and that's a dream of all of us. Is being having the biggest show we can have.
We're talking to Kevin Suter. He is the man behind most of the car shows that you have seen in town. When we come back for our final segment, I'm going to pull something that I did not tell him I was going to do. Stay with us. More Spotlight on the way back.
I'm Brad with Alathus Realty. At Alathus, we pride ourselves on doing things differently. That's why we've invested in some pretty cool technology that sets us apart from our competition. We bought a Matterport camera. This allows us to create a 3D virtual tour like nothing else available in our area. It gives the user an opportunity to explore every inch of the house without actually being there. This works wonders in a regular market, but it's been a godsend through the pandemic. It's cool for buyers, but the real benefit belongs to the seller. You see, homes with a Matterport tour cut down on a number of showings because the buyers have already seen the house. They're coming to buy it. Homes with a Matterport tour sell faster and for more money than ones without. The home playing in the background sold in 4 hours with a more than full price offer. If you're interested in selling your home and like what you see, give us a call. We're unmatched in our approach to marketing, and we'd love to show you everything that we do. Thanks so much. Give us a call today.
We welcome you back into the spotlight right here on Untitled Realty Live. If you're in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call today. It's 479-968-5668 or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. Don't forget, coming up this Friday morning on KARV, the Spotlight at 7:30, our new time slot at 7:30. Don't miss it. That's KARV, AM 610 and 93.1 FM, Friday morning. And our new time slot, 7:30. We are here with Kevin Suter. Kevo, I didn't tell you we were doing this. 2 things, all right?
Come on, man. Be easy with me.
I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be nice. First off, I'm going to hit you with some rapid fire stuff. Random questions that I did not write and that I do not know are coming. So what I decided to do...
Where'd these questions come from?
They are rapidly and randomly generated from this random question generator that I have on my phone. That's just going to ask a random question. And
Can my answer be pass?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we'll see what we get. We'll see what we get here. Okay, you ready? All right. Number 1, favorite season.
Spring.
All right. Favorite food.
Spaghetti.
All right. Kindred spirits on that. What word do you hate hearing that is appropriate for this show?
Can't.
All right. Very good. Who is your hero?
The person that I would most look up to would probably be my grandpa on my dad's side. He was just the closest one to me that was there for me.
If you had to change your first name, what would you change it to?
Kevo.
I knew that was going to happen, yeah. Your favorite store?
Probably Summit Racing if we had one here in town.
Yeah. Let's see. Describe your style in 1 word.
Average.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever.
I get that. Final thing that we're going to do on the show today, and I don't do this with everybody, all right? Usually I save this kind of segment for the people who have been on the show at least 3 times, or for people who know me well, and seeing as how you're basically a member of the family, you get to do this part.
You did first time, huh?
Yeah, first time here. So, because I put you on the hot seat today, and because I made you a nervous wreck for the better part of 4 days, now it is your turn to host the show.
I can't do that.
You can ask whatever you want to ask. You can put me on the spot, or you can wrap it all up right now. It's all on you. You can do whatever you want to do. The show is yours.
I can't host a show. I don't know if I would have to have more time to be able to host a show. I'm willing to work on it, though. I'm willing to come back. After tonight, I'm willing to come back.
See, now that's astounding to me. That's astounding. You're ready to do, you're willing.
Hey, I'll come back. You just say when.
Who are you going to bring with you next time?
I'll work on that. I've got a couple of people that I want to work on.
Yeah,
I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's at least one.
Oh, yeah.
I've been talking to. You know who you are.
Should we put the name out there?
Nope. Nope. Not putting anybody on blast. I want them to try to actually show up. Kevo, it's been a pleasure, man. You got a bunch of stuff coming up.
Man, we've got what we call a Christmas light cruise, where we try to get together, the car guys. We welcome anybody again. We're going to try to cruise around, see the lights, and we're going to try to get a bite to eat, converse about stuff, catch up, and then cruise around, see some more lights. We call it our Christmas light cruise. We've got all of the Christmas parades coming up this week, so look for a bunch of cars in all of those in the surrounding towns as well. And I've actually got a 2022 calendar in the works. I try to do all the local hot rods, and I got a calendar trying to come together. So that's going to be neat. We're going to have extra calendars available You can find me on Facebook or wherever. I'm not hard to find. If you want one of the calendars, just let me know.
Final question before we wrap this up. For somebody who may want to go and cruise, but might be a little intimidated, they might say, well, that's not my crew, or that's not my thing, or my vehicle's not up to snuff. What are you telling those people?
Bring it. Bring it. I guarantee you, I'm sure we're gonna get some more cruise nights lined up 2022 season. As long as the COVID goes downhill, we're going to try to bring some more car stuff, and y'all just keep watching it. You go to United Cruisers page, United Cruisers Association, Tri-County Cruisers Association, Modified Society. All those pages on Facebook, you'll see updates. Send me a friend request. You get more updates. You get updates there as well. We're going to try to bring all kind of car stuff to the community. Just keep watching.
You get updates and hilarity if you're Kevo's friend on Facebook. So just throwing that out there too. Kevo, thanks so much. Let's do it again,
I appreciate it. It's been fun. It really has. I appreciate it.
All right. And that's Kevin Suter. And that is our show for today, this Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, if you are in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call today. It's 479-968-5668 or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. Jeremy Hames is on the show tomorrow from the Gunslingin' Burger. We're going to talk about his story. It's fascinating. I cannot wait for you to hear that. That's coming up tomorrow. For now, my name is Drew Brent. We'll see you back here next time.